Oh, yes. Yes.
Hey guys, welcome to Podcast Versus Play episode 35. I'm Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man whose vacuum cleaner has just broke. It's okay though, he's put a Ouya sticker on it, and now it sucks again. It's only Dan.
Yeah.
Not the best.
No, not really.
I apologise with all my heart. How are you, Dan?
I'm very well, how are you?
I'm not too bad. Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween! Hooray!
It's been and gone.
It's the time of witches and ghosts and goblins and titans.
And Santa.
And yeah, when he's on his off day.
On his off day, he's just terrorising kids.
Yeah.
Just some news.
Well, other than he does on Christmas.
No, he gives back. That's in a fashion. How would you like some news?
I will have some blood news.
We haven't got any.
Oh.
So, what we have got though is a fiscal report. Because
Stand by for excitement, kids!
Yeah, it's been a pretty tough ride.
Yeah.
No, it's been a pretty slow news week.
Yeah, it
in all
has, yeah.
fairness. But Sony have revealed their earnings from the gaming division, and it's pretty good. That's all I'm going to say.
So you're not going to elaborate on that?
I will go on, obviously. Basically, Sony has revealed it's in the last 3 months they have shipped 3.3 million PlayStation 4 consoles, combined with over 800,000 PlayStation 3 consoles. It's pretty impressive.
It's still a lot. I'm surprised that there's so many PS3s still being shipped.
I can still see it. I mean, Japan they're still buying PS3s, but why?
I don't know. It's the same as like PS2 games were just like the biggest sellers even in the last generation of consoles.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think it's just the Japanese market. You know, they've obviously got so many consoles and they just, I don't know, maybe they just really like sort of...
It's the Japanese,
old,
aren't they? Sony.
They just like old, console stuff.
I suppose.
I don't know, but the numbers speak for themselves.
They're pretty good numbers, really. Unfortunately, though, it's not all good news. The handheld division, which is combined sales of PlayStation Vita, Sony PSP, which I'm surprised they still even make, and PlayStation TV, combined has just hit the 700,000 mark, which is 100,000 down from last year, which is pretty poor, really.
All things considered, it is, yeah. I mean, like you say, the PSP should really kind of be on its way out compared to the Vita, but the fact that the Vita's not really picking up the slack compared to how many consoles there are being shipped out as well. I don't know, maybe people just aren't picking it up as a peripheral for it.
It's, the way I see it, it's kind of like how, I mean, I know PlayStation has got PlayStation Eye, for obviously like, kind of like Kinect, but I see Vita as more of the, something you need to have for your PS4. But it's obviously better than Kinect because you can use it on its own. But nobody seems to be picking it up, and I love my Vita. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe people are thinking it's something that's more standalone rather than something that's to be used with a PS4. They just think, oh no, it's like it's like a DS. It's not really anything to do with the Wii. It's just made by the same people. So I don't know. I pretty much guarantee you, if you went out and said, right, what can you do with the Vita? You can do with the PS4. People would be like, I don't know, some of the same games maybe.
Possibly, yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe just people either haven't done the research or they think that its current price is just a bit too much for what it can actually do.
Possibly. It is a beast though, and it's really good graphics and nice screen and whatnot. But
yeah, that has to be said, but if people have just spent a lot of money on a PS4...
Yeah, I mean, I got my Vita before my PS4, so
yeah,
it wasn't a case of, I think a Vita would be a really good addition with a PS4, because I didn't think that at all. I just got the Vita and I was like, I'll be able to do remote play when I get my PS4.
Yeah, but I don't know, that again though, it's just, I don't know if it's a big enough draw to get people to go and buy it.
I'll be honest.
Just the fact you can use it when you're in a different room or whatever.
In this day and age, if you can afford a next-gen console, because obviously PlayStation 4 has still been, it's been £349 since launch. It hasn't had a price change at all, whereas Xbox One's dropped from like 500 to 4 whatever to 3 whatever, and keeps having price cuts here, there, and everywhere. But regardless, they're still expensive. And if you can afford one, 9 times out of 10 you've got another TV in the house. So remote play isn't really a necessity.
No, not at all.
I do it because I'm lazy, and it's geeky. It's just
yeah,
really
but that's
cool.
that's the point of it, though. It is just the unnecessary convenience of it.
Sometimes
It's
I
just the
use
fact
it
that you
to,
can use it, but
I'll just check on, like, if I'm downloading something on the PS4, I'll remote play, so I haven't got to keep flicking over on the TV. I can just look at the Vita and go, oh, it's still downloading.
true. But is that worth 200 quid?
No, not at all. Like I say, I mean, I already had it. If I hadn't, and I got a PS4 before, I don't think remote play would sell it. It's got to be said. It is handy though, because you can do it as long as your PS4's on. So, say I went away and I got Zoe to turn the PS4 on, I can remote play from anywhere.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of cool, I suppose.
It'd be fine, but it would be, I don't know, maybe something of more use in like a prison, maybe, and you could just be anywhere in the prison and play it.
I'd rather. To be fair, they don't deserve consoles.
Well, whether they deserve it or not, they've certainly got them. Maybe that's where all those PS3s are going.
It's very true, very true. However, moving on, PS4 overall, up to now, has sold 12.3 million units. So that's pretty good over a total lifetime sale.
Well, you'd have to compare that to the PS3 and the Xbox 360 to get a real feel. You know, because obviously if it's outselling it 2 to 1 by this point from the 360 and PS3
it's
release.
sold out. It's winning now. It's surpassed PS2. PS2 was the biggest selling console, and PS4's outsold it.
Well, there you go then. There's your comparison.
So that's done pretty well, really. And the fact that it's only been like 7 months, it's pretty good. Xbox One, meanwhile, has sold 6.1 million units, which is pretty good compared to the 3.3 of the last 3 months. But then you look a bit closer and you see that that is lifetime sales.
Yeah, but that's also because, like you said earlier, there have been price drops on it. So as soon as people stop dropping the price on things, that's when it becomes more attractive. But if it still doesn't go below the price of its competitor, then there's still not really much pull.
It is cheaper. No.
Oh, is it now?
It's like £9 cheaper.
Well, that's not enough to sell it.
No. Plus,
unless it's parents buying it for children.
In all fairness, it is less than half. Well, it is half. Sorry, it is half PS4's total sales. And I imagine that's only gone up because of the price drop. And if that's the case, that's not a very big adjustment.
No, and it's also not a good sign. Because to say you're getting more sales because you've made it cheaper, that's not really reflective of what it's able to do.
Well, Sony are breaking even now on PS4s.
Well, that's a good sign this early on.
Yeah, it's really good for...
I don't think the PS3 did that.
I'd be surprised if it broke even at all during the generation.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's weird considering how big of an industry the gaming industry is and how much money they make. It's really quite surprising to know that on most occasions they are making quite a heavy loss.
Well, that's why
which they're having to make up.
Off-the-shelf PC parts for this time around.
Yeah.
Because obviously it worked out cheaper for them to produce. But with... I think the Xbox One's had 4 price drops already, and it just had another one that's going to last... only in America, though. And that'll last till January. So actually, try and get some of the Christmas muscle. But every time they have a price drop, if they're already losing money, they're just going to keep losing money.
Well, unless...
They'd have to sell a substantial amount.
It would be things like the Master Chief Collection. That's what's going to bring it back.
But who wants to buy... spend, say, 400 quid on a console for games that you already played?
Because they look better.
So?
Don't tell me.
I can't honestly believe the gaming public is happy doing stuff like that. I mean, I've got Last of Us Remastered for PS4. I didn't buy it, I had it for my birthday. Because I've already got the game. And I love it. It's like my favourite game. But I can't get my head around it.
Around what?
Why people buy games that they've already got?
Well, it's the people who aren't the hardcore gamers. They're the ones who will go out and buy anything.
I suppose, I mean, like, in all fairness, everyone that buys Call of Duty is buying the same game.
It's the same for any sports game.
Yeah, FIFA.
It's the same really for any
FIFA
FPS.
Is the worst. They might change the who's bought who and who's playing for whatever team now. But you can do that yourself on any FIFA game.
Yeah.
So it baffles me how they make so much money. It really genuinely does.
It baffles me that people actually go and watch it in the first place.
That's different. People say the same. I can't understand why I do a podcast.
True, but fucking.
Yeah, we do it from the comfort of the chair.
Yeah, and I won't get into an argument with someone in a pub because I like GTA 5 and they don't like GTA 5. They like Saints Row 4. And it's just like, well, you go, well, fair enough.
I'll be honest.
I think it had some good things in it. It's pretty fun and blah blah blah. I wouldn't then smash a glass in their head.
But you would, though, Dan.
Well, no, because I'm, maybe it's weird, but I'm from the generation of people who maybe don't resort to violence just because you disagree. Maybe some of these people would have been all right back in the Crusades.
A lot of the people that get into heated debate, shall we say, over video games are genuinely people that have bought, like, the way I see it, people who have bought an Xbox One defend their Xbox One because they haven't bought a PS4.
Yeah.
I've got nothing against. We make a lot of fun of Microsoft, but we don't hate Microsoft, and we want them to succeed, because if they succeed, Sony themselves will pick up their game, and they're fighting for your money, and whoever's got the games is going to get the money. And competition's healthy. If there was only one console developer, we'd be paying over the odds for the hardware, for controllers, for other accessories, for games, to play games. Everything would cost a shitload of money. So competition is healthy. But Microsoft have just fucked themselves completely.
Yeah, they're not really showing themselves to be competitors at the moment.
And Sunset Overdrive is amazing. It's really fun. But it's not a console seller.
No, but that's the thing, though. It's a lot of people. If you do sort of sit them down and explain that, that it's in writing. The PS4 is a more powerful machine.
Yeah.
Use as many metaphors and analogies as you want to get the point across. But at the end of the day, in 5 years' time, it'll still be better than the Xbox One. And there isn't really any getting away from that. And then they just go, well, it's an Xbox. I like my Xbox. Yeah, well, that's fine. Yeah. That's your reason, but that's a bad reason to go and spend 400 quid on something. It's just because you had the previous one.
I know a lot of people that bought... Yeah, iPhones are the worst. It's like... They don't revolutionise it. When it first came out, it revolutionised how we looked at phones. It was the first proper smartphone. Like, you had touchscreen phones before, and phones could do this, but they introduced apps into the world and playing proper games. I mean, like, I remember Monkey Ball coming out on the iPhone. I had that on the GameCube. I was like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Yeah. But now, they're just basically filling people's heads with words. And they go, well, it's an iPhone, so it must be good. But it's not.
No, and I don't know, it's just, but that's the thing, that's the sort of the general mass public mentality, is if you've got something you like it, if another one comes out, you'll get that instead. Even if someone says, right, here's a car, and then here's another car. Now this car is better than this car, it can go faster, the fuel consumption's better, it's better for the environment, blah blah blah, and it's a nicer colour. But people will say, well, I've already owned one of these ones, or I had the model before that, so I just wanted a newer one. So I'm not really looking to get anything new. So I can understand why people would think that regarding anything. But the trouble is, though, That's just the most closed-minded version of any kind of sort of argument you could have with them. Because you're saying, I refuse to accept anything as being better than this.
Yeah. I can accept it if they can say, like, I've got an iPhone. I've got nothing against other phones, I just prefer my iPhone. I know how to use it. That's simple enough.
That's a fair argument. That's a fair point.
Yeah, and you know, I like what Android are doing, and I like what Windows Mobile is doing. But I like my iPhone. Fair enough. But when you have people, especially on like video game forums and stuff like that, you're like, Xbox is better than PS4. Why? The PS4 is just wank. Well, it's not. No console's wank. Like, people bash on the Wii U. I love my Wii U. I love my PS4. I love my Xbox. But the Wii U has really good games. So, therefore, in my eyes, that means it's good. I hated the Wii. The original Wii was turd. But then the Wii U came out, and, you know, they kind of changed how they approached it, and they tried to get hardcore gamers back, but everyone thinks it's a Wii add-on. That's Nintendo's fault. That's not the public's fault. That's Nintendo bad marketing and PR. But people just shit on the Wii U because it's got a Wii in the name. And I can't get my head around it. Do research.
Well, you'd assume that they'd spend that much time, you know, looking into like a new house or to change your internet service provider or something like that. So why would you not put it into anything that you're going to be spending a certain amount of money on?
Exactly.
If you look at the market and say, well, the iPhone 6 is out, I've had all the other ones, it's fine. However, on, you know, with multiple like independently reviewed sites with people that have already got them, Samsung phones are generally considered more, not necessarily user friendly, but they're more adaptable, and you learn how to use them very quickly, and they can do more. And that's as simple as it can really be brought down to.
Spec-wise, they are better.
Well, that is obviously the main one that you'd want. But that's not, you know, you could have the greatest foundation, but what they build on top of it could be a piece of shit. Yeah. Which means that if they haven't used everything that it's capable of, I think that's what I'm going for, then that doesn't make it a good product just because it's better, but they don't utilise it correctly. But you'd expect people, when they're spending a large amount of money or they're committing a large amount of time to doing something, then they would put the necessary amount of research in. You know, people spend months trying to buy a house and make sure that everything's perfect when they get it. Yeah, and then they finally get it and everything's fine. If someone just rolled up to a house and said, I've got a house down the road, we can get you 20 grand off it and you can move in tomorrow, you wouldn't just go, brilliant, give me the keys.
You'd go and check
You'd
it
still,
out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the price of a house is quite large compared to the price of a car or a phone, but you'd still think that people would still put in the same amount of research and effort if they're going to go buy something. If they're buying it for someone else, if they're buying it for kids or whatever, they couldn't give two shits, and I don't blame them because they're not going to be the one using it. So
in all
therefore,
fairness, I disagree with that, because if I'm spending, if my son was old enough to have a phone, and he said, "Dad, I want an iPhone," I say, "Why do you want an iPhone?" And that's not just an iPhone. If whatever phone he said he wanted, I'd say why. And if for whatever reason I didn't know anything about this phone, I'd research it and whatnot, because if I'm spending the money and he's just going to break it, then he can have a shit phone. Because I'm not paying for something that he's going to break.
Yeah, so but I mean, that's you, obviously. I mean, Mr. Joe Public, you know, who doesn't know anything about anything other than banking accounts, then it may just be easy just to buy it and just let them figure it out.
Yeah.
So that is what will fuel sales for things that are either in the press a lot, so that, you know, they're in the public eye and people are interested in it because they've heard about it or read about it, rather than people sitting down and spending time to research what games console they want to buy, what phone they want to buy, and they'll just go, well, I saw that one on a bus, so get that one.
Yeah. But even still, like, quite funnily, obviously Apple have been in the papers and on the news and whatnot, and we've did a podcast about it, about the iPhones bending and the iOS 8 update messing up people's iPhones and whatnot. That's everywhere, yet it's still sold. But what was really funny for me was Chris, who people might know him from some of our Let's Plays, went to London the other week, and they had a big, huge iPhone 6 billboard up, and it was bent. And if that's not advertising, nothing. But it was like literally like a 12-foot billboard, and then the one side was bent. I just thought it was quite funny.
That is pretty cool.
But I can't fathom why people won't research things, regardless of how much you're spending. Whether it's technology, whether it's clothes or whatever, just the internet's everywhere. It takes 5 minutes to find what you're looking for.
That's true, except that it's the convenience of it, I think. If you go into a shop and someone comes over and says, what sort of thing are you looking for? Oh, I'm just after a new coat. Right, this one here, it's got pockets, it's got 2 sleeves, it's got a hood. And you go, brilliant, that'll do. That's all I was after. And then that's it. You know, it's just the fact that someone's just told you that one's the best one for you, rather than you going out and looking for it yourself. But if you're going to spend a few days looking for something, you'll probably find something better than
a 3-sleeve coat.
Or one with 1 sleeve. So yeah, I agree. I don't understand why people can't really just sort of put the time and effort in. But it's, for some people, I guess it just doesn't really matter.
Yes.
It's the fact of brand loyalty, and they like what they've had before, therefore they'll stick with it. And I can only agree with that to a certain extent.
There's a line. There's a line between liking I'm not even sure where the line is, where you until you become a fanboy of a particular brand.
Well, that's an interesting question, because I mean, who could say at the point where, you know, they had a favourite football team? It's either something that you're brought in from when you're a kid, and it's just sort of drilled into you that this is the best football team and every other football team is, you know, shit by comparison, even though they more than likely are. And it's either that, or it's because it's in the media so much and people are telling you that it's great, that you just believe it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's more weird, actually, is the fact that for someone that doesn't like football at all, you have a lot of football analogies.
Well, it's just that's, you know, sort of, again, sort of Joe Blogs, you know, people spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on season tickets and stuff, and it's not even playing like every weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you know,
people
can moan as much as they want to about, like, what?
You might miss some matches if you can't go to any of the away games either.
Well, that's true, yeah. But I mean, you know, someone could sit you down and just say, God, you played World of Warcraft, you pay like a tenner a month for that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, yeah, but you've also spent about 80 quid a month on football matches.
More than that.
And Sky Sports, and then football programmes and pies and stuff that are there. And then you go out to the pub and you watch other football matches that you haven't got tickets to go and see. You've spent 50 times more than me over a year than a WoW subscription.
Even though you don't play World of Warcraft.
No, I've got better things to do with my time looking at football matches.
But I'm into croquet.
But, you know, there are just things that people will like just for the fact that they like it. And yeah, you can't dissuade them from that. I couldn't go up to some, like the people at work that who I work with, you know, I quite like. For the first time ever, I think, I actually quite like the people I work with. But a lot of the time, they're just talking about football, and it's just like about like transfers and stuff like that. And I can see how passionate they are about it, and how, you know, they know all the little ins and outs. And I do admire that to an extent. But then I also wouldn't go up to them and just go, "What the fuck are you lot on about?" But I guarantee you, if I was sat there talking to someone about Star Trek, that would be the first thing that came. Just like, oh God, get over yourself.
Yeah, you like Star Trek.
Go do something proper.
Fucking Klingon.
Yeah, go and play football, you idiot. It's just like, well, bollocks. I like my thing, you like your thing. Let's just leave it at that.
That's what it should be, though. It should be. Oh, I'm not a very big fan of Star Trek, but yeah, whatever.
Well, yeah, that in an ideal world, that's exactly how everything would plan out. I like iPhones, you like Blackberries, you like Samsungs. That's fine.
Blackberries.
But that's basically what it's all about. It's about brand loyalty. People prefer. I still like my Xbox 360, and I'd still play that over buying a PS4 at the moment, because at the moment there's no reason for me to, and that's a logical choice. It's just like I've got no purpose for buying one, because anything that I could get on a PS4 at the moment, I could get for the PC, or I could just get the copy for the PS3 if it was an exclusive.
Yeah.
Now, when something more exclusive for a PS4 comes out, then I will be considering purchasing one maybe. But I'm not just going to go and buy an Xbox One just because I've already got a 360 and I like it. That's a terrible choice to make, but that's exactly what people do.
A lot of people are saying, because there's actually no PS4 exclusive out this year now. We've got nothing until next year. Obviously, Xbox has got Sunset Overdrive and Halo Master Chief Collection's coming up. And everyone's saying, like, for the end of this year, Microsoft, like, Xbox One's won. And it's like, well, personally, I don't think it has, because one game, granted, is really, really good, and Sunset Overdrive is massively fun, but it's not a system seller, and the Master Chief Collection is just a bunch of games that people have already played.
Yeah, and may very well have.
Yeah, and then 9 times out of 10, they already have it for the 360.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's not a good sign for me personally. It's going to sell well, and it's probably going to be the best-selling game of the year.
True, but the way I think about it is like the Master Chief Collection. Don't get me wrong, I did quite like the original Halo games when they all came out for the 360. Halo 2, I think, is still one of the best sort of multiplayer games, because that's what really made multiplayer gaming online. It was Halo 2. You could go online with your friends and just blow shit away. It was fun, and it was a good game, and I liked it. But this Master Chief Collection, I don't think it's certainly nothing that would ever interest me unless someone gave me an Xbox One and it was on sale for 20 quid. Then I'd consider it. But if they came to me and said, well, we've done a BioShock like Rapture edition, and we've remade all, BioShock 1, BioShock 2, all the DLC for all those, and Infinite with all the DLC, and we've remastered it, and everything looks beautiful, and everything plays a lot better, I'd say, how much and where the fuck can I buy it from?
I still don't agree.
I would, and that's the thing though, it's just like Halo's a good game, but it's not good enough to have, in my opinion anyway, it's not good enough to be remade and resold, and to sell a console off the back of it. But BioShock, if they came and said we're just making a standalone game, and it's all the previous games, before the next BioShock, which is inevitably going to be announced soon, we've gone back and we've just made everything prettier, and we've made everything, we've added extra bits in and stuff like that. I would go mad for something like that.
I'd love it, but I still want new games. I don't want old games.
Well, like I said, that would be, something off the back of a new launch or something like that, which means that there would be inevitably a new one coming out.
Yeah.
And I can already guarantee that when they announce the next BioShock, I'm going to be in the queue because it's just the best.
Yeah.
But for the same reason, people will be there in the Microsoft queue because they love Halo. And when the Master Chief Collection comes out, they will go and get it. And I do admit, the cutscenes and everything that have been redone, they look great.
I'll be totally honest, I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I've just thought if coming up to the launch of Uncharted 4, they did an Uncharted collection, like all remade and remastered, I'd fucking buy it.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. It's just one of those things. But again, I wouldn't go and buy a PS4 just so I could play Uncharted 1, 2 and 3 slightly better looking. I've already got it.
I disagree there with something that we spoke about earlier on when we were talking about Last of Us before the podcast. If people had a 360 and they never got to play Uncharted, and they were thinking of buying a PS4, and then they heard this Uncharted collection. By the way, this Uncharted collection isn't coming out, don't get excited. But, and they heard about this Uncharted collection, and they was like, right, I'm definitely getting a PS4 then. I can kind of understand it because they haven't played it before. Whereas...
Well, true, but then the same argument could be made exactly for Halo.
Who didn't have an Xbox 360?
A lot of people didn't.
I thought everyone
especially in original Xbox, people had a PS2 over an Xbox. I remember that was the reason I got an Xbox in the first place, is because I didn't want to have a PlayStation 2 like everybody else had.
I just had both. And a GameCube.
Well, I was buying it on my own. That was the thing. So when you're like 15, 16 or however old I was, buying a games console off your own back is not a cheap and easy process.
But I bet you researched.
Not really. No, I mean, that was... Well, the thing is that I played a lot... A mate of mine had a GameCube and a PS2, and I played a lot of his PS2 stuff, and it was fine, but I wanted something new. And then this Xbox, it was a new thing on the market. It was that Microsoft
radio
came out and made
games.
Oh, it looked fucking hideous. But it was just new, and that was it. I think it was the fact that it was new and something different from everything else, which means that they'd have to go down different routes as to not to just fall into the same category of it's like a PlayStation but a little bit worse. Well, it's like a PlayStation, it's a little bit better. And it would be trying to sort of carve in its own niche, and it did to a certain extent. You know, obviously Microsoft did the whole Xbox Live, and that went phenomenal. That just went fucking mental. Everyone went mad for that.
They still never broke even though on the Xboxes.
Well, it's still, as far as I'm concerned, if it came down to a multiplayer game, it would always be 360 over PS3.
I genuinely did prefer my PS3 to my 360, mainly because of games like Uncharted. I still stand by Sony and Nintendo have the best exclusives over all platforms. And I do have more PS3 games than 360 games, but that's also down to whenever I get review copies, it's genuinely usually PS3. That's the copies I end up getting. But that's not through choice. That's what I get sent. And also some third-party games looked better on PS3, but 9 times out of 10 you can't tell the difference. Plus it had Metal Gear 4, so...
Well, yeah, we don't talk about that bit.
Why? It's amazing.
Because that just wins every argument.
I suppose. Well, no, but like, purely down to exclusives, I preferred my PS3.
Yeah, and to be like, I'm pretty sure I've said this before. I'm not sure if I said it on the podcast or not, but if something like I don't know. I mean, exclusives. Obviously, I don't think I ever really bought an Xbox exclusive.
The last exclusive I bought was Alan Wake.
No, didn't get that. I didn't get Gears of War. Played Gears of War. Never bought it.
Gears of War. I like it. I do like the Microsoft exclusives. I think the PlayStation ones are better.
Yeah, they're actual proper story driven rather than just sort of mindless shooting and stuff. And yeah, I mean, to a degree, I think I do agree that they probably got the better ones. But if it was a third-party title that was coming out, I would genuinely... you've got me to it now. Generally, prefer to get it on the 360. But that was only because if I was going to be playing it online, that's where all my friends were playing it.
Because I remember
so Battlefield 3, all that sort of thing, I'd get it for the 360 because that's who I'd be playing it with.
When we'd get a new game, and one of the first things we'd each ask is, what did you get it on?
Yeah.
And it was always the opposite one. Oh, fuck's sake, we can't play online.
Yeah. Which is, well, I think that's why I kind of prefer just getting things for PC now. Because I know where I stand.
Yeah, we just fucking sign in and play together.
Yeah.
But, no, anyway, moving on. Because we could talk about exclusives and stuff all night. We had a giveaway. It was a weekend. 2K was very, very, very generous and sent us a bunch of Evolve Big Alpha codes to give away to some lucky people. So we did. We gave them away.
We did.
And it went rather well.
It did.
I'll be honest. I'm not happy that we can't actually get on and play, but...
Yeah, that's something. I mean, if we possibly have time, we're going to do an Evolve video, basically just sort of covering it. But people, again, are kicking off, but it's an alpha. Shut the fuck up. If it doesn't matchmake, it doesn't matchmake. Get over it.
It's not going to plague the game when it comes... This is why they're doing it. If they
this is exactly why they did it.
We could be having all this after you've paid for it. You've got it for free.
Yeah.
A lot of you wouldn't even be playing it if it wasn't for sites like ourselves and IGN and all the other people that gave codes out. You wouldn't even be playing it. So, shush.
Yeah. I mean, I managed to get in with my friend yesterday, and we had about 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours, in the same match. And I'll go into more on the video, but basically it's just great. Yeah. It's just a really good, really fun game. and I'm really looking forward to it coming out. But again, more on that as well.
Congratulations to the people who did get codes from us. So congratulations to James, Ewan, Rick, Crack Gamer Studios, Gizmo Gavak, I think I'm saying that right.
Probably
Eric, who's our good friend from Blue Pix, and his friend, who we don't know what his name is, but we're going to call him Barry. So well done, Eric and Barry. Sad news though, we have a traitor in the ranks.
Maybe a traitor, maybe just a shitlord.
More of a shitlord than a traitor. He wasn't actually part of us, but
no.
A young chap, well, I'm assuming he's a young chap, called Sam. Matt, we gave him a code, and he decided to give it away himself. Host a giveaway to get followers.
Yeah, to try and lure people into subscribing. And as obviously we don't need to point out, that's not why we do these sort of giveaways. We do it because, people have managed to find us, they've listened, they like it, they subscribe, and then we think, well, you don't have to, but you've chosen to do that. Here's a little reward. And that's fine. So it's quite annoying as to when we allocate out our one and only Xbox One code, and then someone else decides that they're going to give that away to try and get themselves more listeners. So I don't know if I'm more annoyed at the fact that he's done that and he's tried to get a bigger listenership, or at the fact that we had people who had Xbox Ones that were after that code and they've lost out. Because
we had to turn them down and say, sorry, we offered them a PC code, but they hadn't got PCs, so they were no good.
Yeah. So off the back of this, we've actually come up with something called the PvP Black and White list. So for all the people, like one chap who was after a PS4 code that we didn't have anymore, he's gone onto our whitelist because he was very nice. He was clearly interested in it, and he was a bit gutted that he couldn't get it, but he'll get his hands on another one, hopefully. So he's gone on the whitelist, which means that if we get any other PS4 stuff, anything that maybe he would be interested in, we'll drop him an email, we'll drop him a tweet, and we'll say, we've got this, see if you want it. And then we've also got the blacklist, which is where all the shit
Simon
things go.
Bewdry was his name, by the way.
The nice guy. Yeah, well, if he does listen to this, Simon, we've got our eye open for you, so as soon as we get any PS4 codes through, we will let you know. But the blacklist is for the people who, and this isn't for people, who say, I think videos are shit.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We admit the same thing ourselves. But people who will sort of manage to get something over somebody else for their own game, you're going on the blacklist, which means that we don't care what you're offering or what you're asking for, we're not interested anymore.
Yeah, that'll be it. Nothing. You get nothing. Because 2K, people like 2K don't have to send us anything.
No, they could get their own team together and do alpha testing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They do it all alone. They'll find someone else to do it. But they asked us. We said, yeah, we'll do it. And like Dan said, we've done this because we're willing to give something back to the people that do listen and listen to the podcast, watch the videos. Just basically get involved in stuff. All our Twitter followers, everyone just wants something to say thank you for. And then they're just going to shit on us like that. So, granted, it was only one. There was only one person that did it. And we can't stop it. We can't stop any of you doing it. Just don't, because we'll kill you. But
well, it's just, I don't know, it's a kind of a generous, it's just nice. That's all it's implying. Yeah. We're just trying to be nice about it.
We could have easily just got out the phone book and just gone, got a bunch of codes, who wants one? And then none of you lot would have known.
Yeah, or we could have said, share this. As soon as it gets to 50 shares or 50 likes, we'll choose someone at random. And then we may have already given it out to someone else that we know. Exactly. And no one's going to get it, but it's just clickbait. Yeah. That's all it is.
But we didn't. It was just a case of, here's some codes, get it to us, and you can have one.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
So fuck you, Sam, you cunt.
You know what, Dan? I never say that word, but Sam's a cunt.
He is a cunt.
There you go.
He's a king cunt.
That's how angry I am. But anyway, to all the other people that did get a code, I hope you enjoyed it. Well, we hope you enjoyed it.
As much as we did.
And just have fun because it's nearly finished. So stop listening to this podcast, start playing.
Well,
Users.
By the time that this goes out...
Yeah, it looks like it would have been done. But enjoy it anyway. And also keep your eyes peeled. We'll be having more giveaways. But only to people that we like. So
yeah,
make sure that is you. Dan, pointing to you.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I'll be good.
But now, as Dan said, we'll have, all being well, we'll have an evolved video going up. We're having a bit of problem with matchmaking and stuff, as I'm sure a lot of people are. But what else do we have coming up, young man?
There's a second part to The Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Part 1 has already gone up, but part 2 is on the way. We've also got some extra Minecraft stuff because we haven't done any Minecraft for a while, which is a bit annoying because I can't do it unless you're there.
Because Dan is shit. He needs my guidance.
Yeah, that's exactly the reason. Yeah. But we've also got a new series that we're going to be starting as well, which is going to be a kind of like a DC TV roundup of the week sort of thing. Which is going to be, because obviously me and Cal, we love our comics, and by association we also love sort of TV shows. Well, maybe not love, but we certainly watch them. We're interested in them.
I love Arrow.
Yeah, as it happens, we actually do really like them. But even if they were shit, we'd still be watching them just to see what the hell was going on. For example, Young Justice. That was shit, but I still watched it. But we'll be going over all the new cool DC shows that are on at the moment. So it's obviously Arrow, Gotham, Flash, maybe Teen Titans and Titans Go, if, as and when, we seem to watch a new one. And also as well Walking Dead, if we drop that in as well. Maybe Walking Dead.
It's not DC, but...
Maybe not, but it's still AMC, so I'm kind of... That's my connection to both. But it's a comic, so it's the links are there. Make your own.
Oh, no. Walking Dead's a comic.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
So, yeah, so I mean, it's not a DC comic, but...
It is a comic.
So
yeah.
There's the link. We also have some Evil Within videos that I've been filming, so they will be up very shortly. And I believe that's it.
For the foreseeable future, it is, yeah.
We've got quite a busy schedule, so we'll try and stick to it. On that note, though,
yeah.
The last 3 things you ate.
Thai curry, a crunchy, and an Oreo.
There you go. See you later.
What?
Thanks for listening.
Oh, yes. Yes.